It was a tight game. They fought hard. I'm really proud of them. Yeah. Really proud of them. Really proud of them, boys. 7 straight losses. 7 straight losses. The Mets have given up 40 runs in their past 4 games. The Mets have given up on average 10 runs each game over the past 4 games. They're not in half back at first. Who gives a fuck about first? Just I'm sorry. Oh my god, I'm on my Joker shit right now. I really am. Mets fans, Pirates fans, your mother, your sister, your father, your brother. How's it going? We got another shit show to break down. Part of the profanity, again, parental advisory. When the Mets do this bad, I can't hold anything back, and I have no filter, and I don't know where I am. I feel like I'm on Fantasyland right now. It's a nightmare that I continue to not wake up from. I still feel hungover from last night, even though that the only thing in my system was Mets heartbreak. And, it's like, add insult to injury, why don't we? Oh, my God, that Francisco Lindor error opened everything up. Marte not hustling in right, because God forbid, why would he? McGill getting tattooed as soon as he faced some adversity. The Mets rallied in the ninth, though. They got 5 earned runs in the ninth, so, they were in this. They were certainly in this. Oh my God. How's it going? We're not doing callers tonight, Stephanie. I'm sorry. Not a chance in hell. No callers tonight. I wasn't even going to be going live tonight. The only reason why I decided to go live tonight is because the Mets have lost 7 straight games, and we need to talk about this. We need to vent. We need to share raw emotions. We need to share reactions. We need to say how much we love or hate this team. We need to say what we can do to hopefully see this team turn things around. Oh, yeah, Pete Alonso, by the way. Not sure if you know, arguably the best slugger in baseball. He's on the shelf for at least a month. So, yeah. Yeah, that's happening. You can check out that video when you get a chance. I don't even know. I'm going to break down this ball game until I feel like stopping it. I stopped recording the game inning by inning in the 4th inning tonight, guys. And make sure you smash that like and subscribe on your chiming in. I stopped in the 4th inning because what was the point? The Mets had five runs in the 9th. Congratulations. You want a cookie with that? I just can't. Just spam those L's in the live chat. Just spam them. Just spam them. My head's throbbing right now. My head is throbbing. I didn't have this headache until like an hour ago when I said, you know what? Let's prep. Let's get ready to do the show tonight. So here we are. 7 straight losses for the Metropolitans. They didn't arrive in Pittsburgh until 4:30 in the morning. I will note that. I knew this team was going to come out looking hungover. But again, it's on not only the dog shit defense, primary French, though we saw 7 errors in the past 8 games. It's the pitching in general. I mean, again, every pitcher that pitched for the Mets tonight was not supposed to be on this roster to start the year for the most part. Aside from Tommy Hunter, who cracked the bullpen, but Hunter isn't good. Hunter is actually garbage, is what he is. And it's nothing personal. I like Tommy Hunter. I like his personality. But one of many relievers who should not be on this team right now, yet they are, is the Mets have no better options, or they can't make the trade, or they can't do anything. Rory, stop. You're the only thing we can depend on now. This is me being genuine. I don't know. Like, I'm not going to be on my Frank the Tank shit and, rip my shirt off, and nibble on something every single day. However, I'm going to call it a buck, no pun intended. I'm so distraught with this ball club. It is so hard to put into words, like, how it feels at this point. And again, I told myself I'd give myself a break. I don't know if I'm going to cover the next couple games of the weekend. I have no clue. For all I know, I might even go to a Baltimore Orioles game this weekend. Like, I don't know where my head's at. I'm going to the Subway Series next week, but I'm the least bit excited at this moment. God, I don't know. Can I replace Epler? I feel like I would do an okay job. But again, I feel like a lot of Mets fans feel that they would be able to do an okay job right now. I'm all over the place, guys. I don't even know I'm just so sorry. I just, putting my personal emotions and feelings aside, I'm just so sorry for all the Mets fans out there that are passionate, that watch this team night to night, that have, again, been diehard fans for as long as they have, that have went through hell and back. I feel for you guys. Don't get me wrong. As a content creator covering this team, it's hell right now. It absolutely is. But having said that, I feel for all my respective fans out there watching right now that, look forward to only one thing during the day, per se. Maybe it is the New York Mets, which is your first mistake. The last thing you should have as your one thing to look forward to on the daily, which I find myself falling in that trance way too much in a 162 season, is focused on the Mets. But for the people that, do their 9 to 5, get home and you're wind down, and the biggest thing that you look forward to on the nightly is the Mets, I'm sorry. It's been a week straight of Mets losses. Just a week ago, the Mets were 3.5 out of the Atlanta Braves. Now, they're basically 10 out. That's where we are. Rich Hill Masterclass. I know I tweeted. I knew that Dick Mound at the young age of 43 was going to carve up this Mets team. Rich Hill won 7 innings of 2-run run ball tonight. Again, I'm not shocked. I expected this Mets offense to be flat from the jump. And again, when you're losing 8-2 before the game even feels like it started, naturally that stings quite a bit, right? Or whatever it was. It was 12-2. It was 12-2 prior to the 9th inning. So, the Mets fought. Their pitching staff fought hard. Let's look at this. This is from Michael Mayer, Mets Rise. I want to read this to you guys because he always throws out good numbers. Mets starting pitching the last time through the rotation, 8.55 ERA. 8.55 ERA. It's fantastic. The Mets have no relief pitching. They have no structure with their rotation. They have yet to get a single back-to-back quality start from Justin Verlander this year. Max Scherzer has had a decent stretch and then got roughed up against Atlanta. Granted, it's Atlanta, so it's more justified at least. Kodai Senga is still getting acclimated. He's either great or he's walking everyone and their mother. There's just so many things wrong with this club that we emphasize a lot, not only yesterday, but in previous days. And the only way to rectify this is if you do make immediate changes fast. If you do and again, I highly recommend Draftnik Mark, who's a good friend of mine. Shout out to Mark, co-host of the Mets podcast, the official podcast of the New York Mets. Of course, make sure you're listening to the Queen's Corner pod as well. Myself, Anthony Recker, and Joe Serralo. But point is, Mark came out with a video over the past hour or two. I'm talking about the Mets, and he really reiterated how I feel and how a lot of fans feel. And that's by being aggressive. You have nothing to lose if you're the Mets right now. Be aggressive with your prospects, giving them daily reps. Mark Vientos, there's no excuse not for him to play every day. Vientos, of course, got the run started for the Mets tonight, which is great. Had one RBI, drove in 2. One of them was via error on the 9th, but still, Ronnie Mauricio at some point, should he be in the cards? If, say, you cut some dead weight with veterans on the team. Pitching-wise, should the Mets actually consider rushing up Mike Vasile to have him come all the way up from Double-A to see what you have in him if he's a diamond in the rough to help eat innings for this rotation? The Mets need to do everything in their power sooner than later, internally, and if that doesn't work, externally, if they want any shot of, again, the wild card is still very much in the cards. That's not a huge concern for me right now, but they need to do something here. They need to do something. Braves just went up 3-2. I mean, if the Braves lose any games to the Nationals, that would be a shock to me. So, Mets sellers, I don't foresee the Mets being sellers. No, I don't see that happening. But they are digging themselves in such a deep hole right now. It's ridiculous. Appreciate that donation, Albino. Stephanie, thank you so much for the $5 holla. She says, want to laugh. This team won 101 games last season. Now we'll be lucky if we crack 78, 80 at this point. At this rate, yeah, we'll be lucky if the Mets go 80. I do still believe that the Mets will finish the season between 85 to 90 wins. And I do think that that'll be enough to hopefully crack playoffs in the wild card. And that's not me being this eternal optimist. As bad as things are for the Mets right now, I still know that we have 100 games left this season, and I know that they will get on a run at some point. It's just a matter of when and how deep of a hole are they going to dig themselves in before they really start to try to crawl out of it, right? Is this 4 games below 500 going to become 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? Or are they going to start to remedy this as soon as tomorrow? Like that's the big question behind all this. All it takes is a couple more losses, and the Mets are close to 10 games below 500 right before you knew it. It's just crazy. And we got basically 500 live viewers in here, you absolute beauties. Happy to have you guys on here. Or smoking on that good dope. Hey, I don't care what I need to be smoking on, as long as something to help try to sway me to think that the Mets will still win and not calm and make playoffs. That's what I care about most right now. But again, not shocked that any rational Mets fan is like, playoffs? What do you mean playoffs? Let's see. Ismail, thank you so much for a $5 holly. He says, suggest Steve Cohen forgot the 5-year plan. Build the farm, get rid of the geezers, go young, use free agents to fill holes. I mean, they have been doing exactly that. They haven't forgot the 5-year plan, but it's this mix of focusing short-term and long-term when your farm was completely gutted when you acquired the team. And now you're building that up, and now the kids are starting to prosper. Again, the Mets have some really nice prospects, but it's too lopsided. It's too top-heavy, and their pitching prospects are few and far in between. You have Blake Tidwell, you have Mike Vasile, you have Dominic Hamill, and Calvin Ziegler. That's your 1 through 4 pitching-wise. That's all you got in the starting front right now, and it's not great. And they still need to do well in their drafting. And now in the years going forward. Justin, thank you for a donation. Says, the way they scored 5 runs in the ninth, I'm proud of them. Don't get me wrong. I like seeing a team go down with a fight. But yeah, I like the sarcasm there. I appreciate that donation. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about it. Braves just won 3-2, 10 games back. No, we're 9.5 back. Close though. About the same. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what led this game to blowing up in front of its face. Of course, shout out to Sora, MLB, Manta Sleep, and Mojo Sportsbook, my beloved sponsors that you guys know very well, that we'll get into shortly. But before we get into them, let's talk about how this game started. So again, before the game even began, Pete Alonso, you see what happens. He's out for a month. Thankfully, there's no fracture in his wrist. But again, I expanded my further thoughts on that in a separate video that came out earlier today. Check it out whenever you get a chance, folks. Alonso's out for a month, so you just lost your best offensive player on a night-to-night basis, just like that. Nito, of course, is actually in AAA, outright at AAA, was not picked up. The Mets aren't going to be training him, it looks like. And he's going to stay in the organization, which is dope. I'm happy about that. Nogosek DFA'd as Zach Muckenhern was the transaction because the Mets need arms today. Thank you, Zach Muckenhern, for giving the Mets 2.1 innings pitched of 3 earned run ball. Fantastic. Luis Gourmet was called up as well, and Gourmet did drive in a run in the 9th inning tonight. So there's that, thanks to an RBI double. But let's talk about this ballgame. Let's get into it now, shall we? Let's get into it. And then we'll talk about, is this Mets team, like, are they cooked completely? All that stuff. No offense, but I'm seller in Texas. I'm seller in I don't know what you meant by that, Albino, but I appreciate that donation. Texas Rangers are so good right now. It's crazy. So good. So the game starts off in the first. Brandon Nimmo with a single. Alvarez with a fielder's choice. That's all she wrote. In the second, McNeil with a McDouble. That's just his second McDouble, any type of extra base hit that we have seen in like a month span. It's been that long for McNeil, who's been, again, contact guy per usual, but has struggled to go gap to gap, especially spreading the field. Eduardo Escobar with a walk, and then Vientos rips an RBI single off of Dick Mound himself and Rich Hill, and it's an early 1-0 lead for the Mets. Entering tonight's game, the Mets were 17-5 when they have a lead to start a game, when they are the first to get a lead. Of course, they finished tonight's ball game with a record of 17-6. In the bottom of the second, after the Mets are up 1-0, Hayes, who killed the Mets, not only an elite glove at the hot corner, but on a tear, batting 500 over his past number of games right now. Hayes with a single, Bay with a walk, then a double steal, and Austin Hedges with an opposite field 2-run double to make it a 2-1 lead for the Pirates. In the third, with 2 outs, Lindor with a no-doubt home run. Pretty sure that's his 12th of the year, if I'm not mistaken, or 11th, 1-2. Marte with a single. That's all she wrote. Mets tie the ball game 2-2. In the third, this is where we have a problem. Andrew McCutchen gets his 1,999th hit, an infield single that Lindor, again, too deep for him to handle. Understood. Infield single there for McCutchen. Santana reaches on an error by Lindor, and this is truly what was the demise of this ball game. Again, Tyler McGill gets faced with the littlest bit of adversity and could not overcome it. Unfortunately, something we've seen a lot with him lately. As someone that is always going to be a fan of Tyler, I will say this. He doesn't have it right now. He just doesn't. As much as I like him and as much as I like his stuff at times, Tyler has continued to labor, whether it's be walk score or, can't handle adversity from poor defense. So don't get me wrong, he got screwed over. Lindor should have had an easy double play to touch second, but instead he was too focused. He turned his head before grabbing the ball, which led both runners being safe. And that was the game's end before he knew it. Sawinski with a walk. Hayes with a 2-run single to give the Pirates a 4-2 lead. Bay scores 2 runs on an effing bunt because Escobar comes in, charges it, and Escobar, being the lack of a strong defender that he is, chucks it to first and Cano way over his head. That allows another run to score. It's 6-2 Pirates, thanks to that Eduardo Escobar error. Policio with an RBI single makes it 7-2, and we're only in the 3rd inning. In the 4th, McCutchen with a walk, Santana with a single, Malkin comes in, and he gives up an RBI double right away to make it 8-2, and Hayes stays hot again with a 2-run double, and it's 10-2 Pirates lead, and that's all I need to talk about. They get a couple more runs thanks to some 2 different solo shots against Tommy Hunter, who's anything but good, and the Mets score 5 earned runs in the bottom of the 9th, and got 2 of those runs off of David Bednar, which is impressive given how good David Bednar is. The only reason why they put Bednar in the ball game was probably give him reps. I'd imagine he hasn't pitched in a little bit. That's the only logical reason as to why Bednar, with a 1 year right now, was pitching, if I had to guess. But yeah, the Mets barreled him well. Again, the offense at least showed some production. The Mets offense, I mean, they've scored a good amount of runs past 4 games, but the issue is when you give up 40 fucking runs. 40 runs in a 4-game span, 10 run average. That's what's going to happen. Should the Mets get Anthony Bass got DFA'd? No. I don't think Bass is going to be any better going from one market that's filled with media as is to another. I think Bass, if he's going to thrive again, he needs to go to a small market club. That's my honest opinion. I know he had a great year last year. I know all the controversy going on with him right now, however you feel about it. Genuinely don't care. He's not a Met, so I'm not giving him the light of day right now. The Mets need to actually add guys that can impact this club and not just eat innings for 2 weeks until they decide to opt for someone else. They need to make some serious moves, and we're too early in the year to really hope for any blockbuster on the reliever front. There have been active trade negotiations I've heard around in regards to the Kansas City Royals, White Sox to a lesser degree, and of course you always have the Alexis Diaz rumors, but the Reds aren't trading Alexis Diaz right now. And if they would, it would have to be for Hurricanes ransom. Reds are playing good baseball. They're young. They're exciting. That isn't happening at this moment. So what the Mets need, the biggest issue, is that all the pieces that they need externally, they really have no true opportunity of getting at the moment. They're not in a position where they can buy comfortably without giving up an arm and a leg that is likely to bite them in the ass far more in the next year or couple years from now. They have to make sure that they avoid a hobby bias situation or you acquire, again, a player that's impactful, but strong chance of not returning at the end of the year and giving up a top prospect in doing so, as Pete Armstrong is basically MLB ready, on the verge of being MLB ready for the Cubs, outfield prospect. Jared Kelenic, I know it's a different situation because we love Edwin Diaz. Brody, we'll never forgive him for throwing him in that deal, but Kelenic just hit another bomb tonight. He has been absolutely killing it for the Mariners. I'm rooting for Kelenic. Never had to ill will with Kelenic. Always been a fan of his. Was so excited when the Mets drafted him too. Just one of many pieces they've wasted away, parting ways with. Different circumstance. So point stands. The market isn't in the Mets' favor at all. Nothing is in the Mets' favor right now. If I'm keeping a buck with everyone, again, no pun intended, pardon my French, this team is fucked. Right now, this team is fucked. They need to dig deep and find something within themselves. They need to get a fire under their ass. They need to wake the hell up. They need to make some changes, whether it's on the pitching coach front, whether it's on the hitting coach front. They need to do something soon because externally, they're not going to be able to make the proper moves that you want them to just yet. They're still at least like a month away from anything close to that really happening, if I had to assume, just because of how the markets work. There's a reason why other teams that are desperate for help right now can't really swing a trade. That's just the nature of the market that we're dealing with right now. And as we get into it again, so here's the hitting stats. Haynes stats. This is what you got tonight. I think there was a pinch hitter too. There was multiple, but I don't care. So that's the Haynes stats. Mets had 11 hits. Pirates had 17. Mets gave up 19 hits last night. Mets had 14 hits yesterday, gave up 19. Mets had 11 hits tonight, gave up 17. This pitching staff is the demise of this club, and it's not even funny. And that's why I'm not yelling or anything right now, because it was laughable in the beginning of the show. But I'm numb. I'm getting to the point where I'm numb with this dog shit show of a club you call the New York Metropolitans, as they've dropped 7 straight. It is embarrassing, to say the least. Like, I knew that they were going to be jet lagged. I knew that they were going to be slow rolling after feeling hungover from that Braves series, and the way that it ended especially. But holy shit. Just actually, truly. Everything goes to die in Pittsburgh, too. Let's not forget that. I mean, infield errors galore. We know that very well over the past couple years in Pittsburgh. Nothing has went right when the Mets have faced the Pirates in recent years. Nothing at all. So there's your hitting stats. Let's get into the pitching, shall we? The pitching, there it is. McGill's charged with 7 earned, thanks to Muck and Hearn coming in and not being help either. 5.14 ERA on the year. 9 total runs. Again, a couple of those weren't his fault because of Lindor. Muck and Hearn, if we're including the runs that were ultimately charged on McGill, he gave up at least 5 or 6. And then a Hunter, again, just eating innings, giving up bombs, just what you expect. The Mets are the worst staff in baseball, and National League at least, at giving up home runs. They lead all the National League in home runs given up right now. And yet this is a team that's supposed to have World Series aspirations this year. You see how those things don't align? You see how those things never align? And we unfortunately have poor roster management to thank for that, along with injuries, inconsistencies, lack of performance, everything under the sun that could have went wrong has went wrong for this team. But if there's one thing that is right, and that's what many of you guys know, that is my great friends at Sower MLB. Sower MLB, guys, is the best MLB fantasy game out there. It's free to play. You draft your team. You enter weekly tournaments. You have a chance to win awesome merchandise, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Upgraded cards to make your team better than what it was, and that way you don't have to spend a dime on the cards if you don't want to. Again, the same way that you would play an MLB The Show or any other type of MLB type fantasy game. You can enter VIP access to meet your favorite MLB players, whether you want to meet a Pete Alonso, whoever it might be, right? And so much more. And by you guys signing up using my link in the live stream in the description down below to Sower MLB Wardy's Unique League, where you're playing against me in weekly tournaments and others, you will automatically be entered for your chance to win a Francisco Alvarez El Troll jersey. The giveaway winner will be announced at the end of the month. And again, all you guys need to do is click the link in the live chat that's pinned in the description for people live or on replay. Sign up to Wardy's Unique Sower MLB League, free to play. Draft your team, enter weekly tournaments, and you are automatically entered for your chance at winning an Alvarez jersey, and we will pick one random winner at the end of the month. We did a Brett Beatty jersey giveaway. Yoshima, a great member on the channel, actually won it randomly as it was chosen, in which I did through Automator to just pick a random name out of everyone that signed up for it. He won. Happy for him. That's getting sent his way as we speak, and now I'm looking forward to giving away this Alvarez jersey at the end of the month, who is quite literally one of the best catchers in baseball right now, and Buster Olney, don't tell him that. But again, shout out to you guys for signing up. Sower MLB, join Wardy's League. Really, really does mean a lot. And shout out to them for being a great sponsor on the channel, as always. But let me get into some of your donations here. Then I got a couple more things to say. Then we'll get into some more sponsor talk, as you guys I know love. I know being so a little sarcastic on that, but I appreciate everyone that supports. Really, really does mean a lot. Look on the bright side, at least the Braves one. I appreciate that donation. Thank you so much. Again, if you're going to be a Braves fan, talk like that, give me money at least. So, it balances out. Or if you're a Mets fan, same applies. Thank you. Should answer that about Bass. Let's see. Albino says, or Albino, I apologize if I'm saying your name wrong. He says the following. When will Buck hold players accountable? Sorry about my last message. I meant to say selling out these means going 100% Rangers. I get what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, I know. Something that Mark emphasized well in his video that came out earlier today. Again, make sure you guys watch it. Free plug for him because I love Mark. Good friend of mine. Really just the aggressiveness, not only in the sense of roster construction, being aggressive with your prospects, but being aggressive with your approach as well. The Mets aren't an aggressive team. and they have felt stagnant. They have been teetering for such a long period of time now. And this goes far beyond the Atlanta Braves series last year where they got swept and lost the division. This goes far beyond when they lost that wildcard series to the Padres. This goes all the way back to around mid-August last year. This goes all the way back to around early to mid-August last year when the Mets had the easiest schedule in baseball and ended that month span just like a game or two above 500. As soon as the Mets have started to face true adversity, where they are losing consecutive ball games to lesser clubs, no less, since then, they have been a 500 ball club. If you go back all the way to the past Mets 80 to 90 games, including last year, they are around 500. They have not been that exciting, dominant club in a solid stretch since pretty much the first half of last year and then the first month after the trade deadline. So like as you got into after the trade deadline, you know, August, pretty much they did well until we got mid towards the end of August, and they haven't been the same since. So yeah, this is a constant problem for this team. This is far bigger and far deeper than just this season, and it's bigger than those last two series that they had at the end of the 2021 regular season and postseason. And things are still not being changed. Buck is struggling to find that remedy for this club. The front office is struggling to find that remedy, and it's showing just continued mediocrity over their past 80, 90 plus games. Josh, thank you for the donation. Josh says, remaining strength of schedule doesn't look good, man. Breathe the talent is still there. Real talk. I appreciate that. Didn't need to hear about the schedule, but I appreciate that too. The Mets have a very difficult schedule ahead. They certainly do. It's not going to be fun. Mets took zero advantage of what has been a light schedule for the most part up until like this past couple days. Literally, the Mets had one of the easier schedules in baseball, aside from the West Coast trip to start the year. I mean, they had a month span of playing basically dog shit teams, and they did nothing with it. They had a losing record. Appreciate that donation, Josh. Congratulations to your Braves. I'm sorry in advance for what your girl has to deal with. Francisco, thank you for the $5 holly. He says, Braves, Phillies, and Miami with a 6-game winning streak. Meanwhile, the Mets with a 7-game losing streak. Battle last place between Mets and Nationals. Yep. Yeah, just a week ago after the Mets swept the Phillies were 7 games below 500. See how quickly things change? And that's the beauty about baseball at the end of the day, guys. That's the beauty about baseball. Why? You might be going through hell and back, but all it takes is one good stretch and you're right back in the thick of things, which is what I firmly believe will happen with this Mets team. But they're just not there right now. Jesus, thank you for the donation. I appreciate that. But they're just not there. They're not at all. Shout out Dave. Shout out all my loyal members live and our replay. Appreciate you guys being in here. All you need is a hot streak. And the Mets are in not a hot streak, but the worst cold streak imaginable. What can they do, says Scott? Great question, Scott. I've been trying to find answer. It's not the matter of what they can. It's not even the matter of what they can do. It's like because they're so limited right now. They're limited. They're not in a good spot at all right now. I can't emphasize it enough. This team is not in a good spot, to say the least. They really are not. We're almost at 100 likes, too. Appreciate that. Continue dropping those likes, guys. Help us get to 100, 150 by the end of the live show. Really does mean a lot. And continue smashing that like and subscribe on. Thank you guys so much in advance. Now let's get into one more thing before we advance further, guys, and that is my other great sponsor on the channel. This is for New Jersey residents only. So if you guys are a New Jersey resident, that's a Mets fan, a Braves fan, a Pirates fan, a Jets fan, whoever you're a fan of, make sure you listen in because it's greatly appreciated. Shout out to Mojo, again, for being a great sponsor here. But for those that don't know, Mojo Sportsbook, what I love about their sportsbook and why I'm so happy to have them on as a channel sponsor is that they combine stock, like Robinhood or any type of stock app, where you're doing day trading or holding on to your stock and combining that with players. So you can actually spend real dollars on demand on actual players in baseball. You can invest in Francisco Alvarez. You can invest in Pete Alonso, which his stock probably dropped a little bit because of his injury. So now's the time to invest, stuff like that, because you know when he comes back from injury, he's going to be strong as expected. But to tell you a little bit about Mojo Sportsbook, for those that aren't aware, of course, by clicking the link in the description, using my promo code WardyNYM for 20% off deposit match up to $100. It's the live betting stock market that's operating in New Jersey. Every bet on Mojo offers live trading so you can get in and get out all game long. It's stock trading, meeting sports betting with money lines, player props, and a whole new career long bet they've created. So you can invest on players daily, or you can do your normal parlays on over under Ks for your starting pitcher, which the Mets have hit on that a lot, except from tonight with Tyler McGill, for example. Then the best part about this app that I truly enjoy the most is that unlike a lot of other sports books where you don't get great cash out options, this is where Mojo Sportsbook separates from the rest. The best part of it all is that you're in total control of your bets. Cash in when you're up or cash out if it's going bad. Mojo's cash outs are available way more than any other sportsbook. So again, all you guys got to do is download the app now and use my promo code WardyNYM for a 20% deposit match up to $100. Again, that is promo code WardyNYM for deposit match up to $100. Shout out Mojo Sportsbook for being a great sponsor of the channel and in this segment of today's live stream. And again, make sure to click the link in the description for people live on replay whenever you get the chance. But now, what I want to talk with you guys about just for a second, the Mets are currently in a position where nothing is going right, where as soon as you think that you're going to get some type of productivity, it's taken away from you because of the pitching. My question to everyone, every single person in the live chat right now, and for people on replay, is simply this. Are the Mets going to be able to overcome this current hurdle? And to what extent? Where do you currently see the Mets by the end of the season? Give me record prediction and give me playoff prediction. I want to hear it. Everyone in the live chat, spam it right now. Let me see it. Really curious. Again, I want to see it. Let me know in the chat right now. Let me know in the chat, people watching live on our replay, what is your record prediction for the end of the season? And 2, what's your playoff prediction? Will they even make playoffs? Let me see it. Everybody to my 500 live viewers right now. Let me see it. And we're going to go through it. We're going to talk about this. Because again, obviously I'm asking you guys after a 7-game lose streak, so I know it's going to be far more negative than positive. But again, there's a reason for that because this team has played like absolute dog shit for this long. And when I mean that, it's like the offense isn't to blame every game. We're aware of that. But they've had no unison. And the pitching has continued to kill this team. Zach says 128-34. So we got an optimist over here. So you're telling me there's a chance, right? 85 wins, says Pantrice. 80 says Joe. Fourth place says Albino. Let's see this. 85 to 89 wins, says Isaac. World Series or bust. 85 wins, 77 losses. Let's see. Nope, no playoffs, no postseason, maybe 84 wins max, 85 to 90 wins at most. No, because they have no fire in them. I do think that too is going to change, but I'm just curious to know how you guys are currently feeling given the circumstances. 70 wins, 77 wins, no playoffs. As a Braves fan, they will win 87 games. No playoffs, too many things against them. I see no shot at playoffs at this rate. 84 wins, 64 wins, says Chalk. 81 and 81. 85 and 77. And the Mets are the worst team in the NL playoff side. So they just crack like how the Phillies did last year. Okay. Gotcha. Genuinely, I've been saying this this year, start 2023 is not the year we win. 87 to 75 this year. I think 2024 is the year we win the World Series. I don't know why I feel it. I don't know why either, Lenny. I like the optimism because if the Mets win a World Series at all in the next couple of years, I will be jumping for joy. But man, that's the farthest thing that I'm thinking about at the moment. Sign the petition to make Wardy GM in chat. That's actually hilarious. Max just made a petition. Andrew says 84. We have to pin this in the chat right now. That's actually hilarious. Wait. Is that actually? Okay, guys, we're pinning it in the chat right now. Okay, guys, it is pinned in the live chat. Go ahead when you get a chance. Sign the petition to make myself GM. If there's one thing I can guarantee you is that I will be genuine in my decision making. I can't say they will be the right decisions, and I can't say that I will make every decision level-headed. But what I can guarantee you is that everything will be with the utmost effort. There will be nothing with the lack thereof, and I will listen to the fan base as much as humanly possible without listening to the fans that believe that Lindor needs to be cut for going, say, over 5. So that is what I can guarantee you. That is my best way of pitching as a new fan politician. So go ahead and check out that petition. That's actually hilarious. That made my night. Shout out to you, Max, for making that. Let me see if I can click on this link. We're gonna look at it right now. This is actually made. We already got 6 votes. Folks. Sign the petition. You guys. This is why I decided to still go live tonight, because at least I can have fun with you guys while I'm just drowning my own misery. Oh, that's funny. That's really good. When you become GM, fire Buck, cut Vogelfat, take some money back from Lindor, get rid of the whole bullpen, and move back to Shea Stadium. I mean, you can't move back to a stadium that doesn't exist anymore, but I get what you're saying. Shea Stadium is the Mets parking lot right now. But yeah, I see what you're saying. Also, I also got to tell you guys something right now. So I will be in attendance for Tuesday's Subway Series game, maybe Wednesday too, I'm not sure. I'll be in New York for most of next week, guys, from Tuesday all the way till Friday. There's something that I'm beyond excited to share with you all. I'm not allowed yet, I'm pretty sure. This is a hush-hush thing. But I'm beyond grateful that I was invited to something that I will be sharing with you all when the time is right. So just know that this week, I'll be in New York for a while. Tuesday, Subway Series. Wednesday, if I feel like it. Then I'll be heading back on Friday. So just so you guys know, if there's a lack of live streams and they're just post-game recaps like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, there's reason for it. So I'll leave it at that. Do the Mets even play Thursday? No, they don't. They have an off day, right? Yeah, they have an off day. All right, cool. Okay, that actually makes sense now. Okay, so solid chance we might just get game recaps for the Subway Series, but just stay tuned. Braves call up 20-year-old rookie, goes 5.11 run. Granted, it was against the Nationals, but yeah, I mean, Braves have solid pitching depth. They do. I'm not shocked by that in the slice. 4 more losses in the row, and Buck will get fired. If the Mets lose 4 more games in a row, then I agree that something with the coaching staff will happen if that were to be the case. There's just no chance that isn't the case. If the Mets lose 4 more and are 8 games under, yeah, I would be, and I'd probably be in agreement with you there. Yes. But I pray and I do not believe that is going to happen. Did I hear Frank the Tank's opening joke? No, and I don't care to know. I know that he's going to be at the... when is that, by the way? When is that? When is the Mets comedy thing they're doing? That's soon, isn't it? Oh, it's on Monday. Gotcha. Makes sense. Alonzo with his being up wrist is gonna go on stage. Looking forward to hearing his jokes. Not gonna lie. Even this kind of pisses me off that Frank's gonna be there. Like, yes, it's funny. Don't get me wrong, and I don't hate Frank as a person. However, Frank has been put on a pedestal from screaming about the Mets, even when they've been at their highest of highs in recent years. I mean, Frank was that guy who didn't enjoy for 1 second when the Mets had everything going right last year. So naturally, everyone's going to be like, Frank is right when things are not going well. But the point is that I just can't stand fans that get no enjoyment at any point. Yes, the ultimate goal is to win a championship, but if a fan was only focused on that and was never happy, then there would be no fans in baseball because there's only one champ at the end of the year, right? So that's always the biggest thing that pisses me off for Frank, aside from him just saying the most ridiculous shit on a day-to-day basis. That's the main thing. Don't hate him personally, but I don't like when people are put on a pedestal when they have built their platform by doing nothing but like hexing the entire club. Like, that's bad juju. Like that, and I'll leave it at that. His joke goes, I'm 47. I've had a colonoscopy and a root canal this year, and it's still been more fun than watching Mets. That's good. He did make a joke. I know he has a joke for Vogelback, which is going to be terrible. So yeah, that's not gonna be good. That's not gonna be good. But guys, we got to wrap up stuff now. I'm getting my head's throbbing. I gotta go continue to binge watch Succession because that's the only enjoyment I've been getting at anything in life lately. So before I go, I of course have to let you guys all know about my great friends at Manta Sleep. For those that don't know, Manta Sleep are the best sleep masks out there on the market. Mine is bedside right now. That's why I'm not holding it right now. But my Manta Sleep Mask Pro that I use nightly, have been for a couple months now, is how I get nice, comfortable sleep whenever I fall asleep. I didn't go to bed until 5 a.m. last night, in part because of Mets torture and other just because I couldn't go to bed. But then as soon as I finally slipped on the Manta mask, slept like a baby, slept in really, really late today. But in doing so, again, Manta Sleep Masks are the best and most affordable sleep masks on the market. Best bang for your buck, if you will. And all you have to do, guys, as many of you have supporting the channel, is clicking the link in the description and using my promo code WARDY for 10% off your purchase for anything that you want on the site. Look how happy this dime is, right? I mean, I'd be happy too if I had my Manta Sleep Mask. So as we go down, as you look at their sleep mask options, you got the sound mask, which heard a lot of great reviews about. Again, if you're trying to go to bed listening to some music of your favorite artist, rapper, whoever it may be, or if you want to listen to it in, say, an airport with turbulence around, kids crying, you don't want to deal with it as you're on the plane. That's where the sound mask comes into play, especially if you want, again, what I have, which is the Manta Mask Pro right down here. Beautiful, comfortable, side to side. You're always having a comfortable sleep. You have your weighted mask, which is really, really strong as well, nice and comfortable. Your Manta Cool Mask, if you want to go to bed nice, cold, and comfortable at night, the way that I do. Get that bad boy on. It gives you some nice cooling around the eye sockets. It makes you feel nice and cold at night. Or on the flip side, the other way around, if you want a nice Manta Steam Mask, where you got some steam going around the eye sockets at night, especially if, say, it's around wintertime, that is where you want your Manta Steam Mask. So again, all you guys got to do is use my promo code WARDY for 10% off your order. Again, shout out to Manta Sleep for being a great sponsor as always, and appreciate you guys listening in on that one. Francisco says, hey, cheer. Bobby Bonilla Day is around the corner. Oh, God, we're still a little less than a month away. But yeah, appreciate that donation, Francisco. And that being said, guys, I got to get out of here. I'm exhausted. Stephanie, thank you so much. Says, I'm worried the only way out of this rut is to drain the little farm we had to temporary players, something we've been doing for years. It never works. I know it would be contradictory to what the Mets are trying to build right now. I agree with that. So yeah, hopefully they don't. But again, their Mets are in a tough situation right now, to say the least. But guys, I'm out of here. Thank you so much for having a great rest of your night, day, evening, whenever you're watching this. The Mets cutting me up, tearing me up to pieces, just the way that I know you fellow Mets fans feel. And we'll see if I'm back at all over the weekend. That is yet to be determined. So have a great rest of your night, day, evening, folks. Thank you so much. And no matter what, even down 7 straight losses, 9.5 back, let's go Mets.